side protector there in Atlanta, and part of a strong offensive line that they think is one of the reasons they have hopes to challenge Tampa Bay and win this division. Tight end Darren Waller is on the Miami Dolphins. For anybody who missed that bit of offseason news, they activated him off the physically unable to perform list, and he's eligible to join them in practice. He came out of retirement, and the Giants traded him to the Dolphins, whose offensive coordinator is Frank Smith, a man he played for in Oakland and who he has publicly talked about having helped him through some off-field issues. So Darren Waller excited to play for Frank Smith in Miami. And in Tennessee, cornerback L'Jarius Sneed, who missed a huge chunk of last season with a quad injury, has been activated off of the PUP list as well and is eligible to return to practice for Tennessee. He had a procedure to fix the quad issue and also a cleanup on his knee in the offseason. L'Jarius Sneed now healthy and ready to go for the Titans. As we mentioned earlier, Jameson Hensley, our Ravens reporter, saying quarterback Lamar Jackson left practice because his foot got stepped on and that he is fine, according to a team spokesman. So anybody who saw reports earlier today about Lamar Jackson leaving practice, you can exhale.
Hey, Lamar Jackson has already shown us 2 times being the MVP that he's one of the best doing it at the quarterback position, but so is Jared Goff. Jared Goff has looked like a top quarterback over the last couple of seasons. Since 2023, he has thrown for the most passing yards in the league and ranks second in passing touchdowns and completion percentage. Yep.
We're different. We're different than all 31 in this league.
To the end zone! Wow! Touchdown, Detroit Lions!
Last year, it looked like Jared Goff had arrived. He was phenomenal, completing 72% of his passes and throwing 37 touchdowns against only 12 interceptions.
Tonight was about as perfect as you can get.
It's good. When the ball doesn't hit the ground, it was a good day.
He lit up the Cowboys, lit up the Packers, lit up the Vikings. He led the Lions to the top seed in the NFC. He looked to be on his way to taking his second team to the Super Bowl. And then, against Washington in the playoffs at home, the record scratched.
Throws it over, picked off! That's it! Celebrate like it's 1991! This is the home of Motown, and tonight, they'll be playing the blues, baby!
The Lions went from looking invincible to looking very beatable. And their quarterback went from looking like a world beater to looking barely serviceable in a single afternoon. It brought back a nagging Jared Goff question. Was he a great quarterback or just a good one? It's the question that haunts so many NFL franchises. Can you win with good but not great? Consider Matt Ryan. In Super Bowl 51, with the Patriots down 28-12 but charging, Ryan dropped back to pass and looked left. But rather than just throw, he did something the coaches call hitching. He hesitated for a split second.
Shotgun snap on 3rd and 2, and here comes Dante Hightower. The ball turned free. It's a fumble, and it's a turnover, and New England has gotten it.
It's an imperceptible error, and yet, in cases like this, it's everything. A pivotal play in what became a historic meltdown.
They have completed the greatest comeback in Super Bowl history.
A few years later, Goff's Rams faced New England in Super Bowl 53. At that moment, there wasn't much of a narrative on Goff, and this play could have been the moment that it happened, that he reached another level. But Goff looked left and then hitched, and that cost him.
Throws at the end zone, wide open receiver Cooks, and the ball is knocked incomplete thanks to Jason McCourty. That should have been 6.
And after intercepting Goff later, allowed the Patriots to win the game. You know what happened next. The Rams eventually lost confidence in Goff and traded him for Matthew Stafford, who proved capable of the kind of magic that is the signature of the game's greats.
A Lombardi trophy for Los Angeles.
And Goff is in Detroit, where he's helped turn the franchise around, but not yet won a title. Is there a higher gear for Goff? Is he capable of greatness? It's hard to say, but this much we know. Where Goff and the Rams once were, where Goff and the Lions are hoping now to go, it is the only question.
I'm here with Seth Wickersham. That was a great piece on Jared Goff. Now, Seth, there's performance and then there's perception. What did you learn about how difficult it is for a quarterback to go from good to great?
That I don't know if it can be done. Like, it's one of those
mystical and kind of mysterious things that happen with quarterbacking where you're able to get to the 99.8 or 99.7 percentile, but can you get to the 99.9th? Is it, and if you can't, then why is that? Is it because of surrounding talent? Is it because of timing? Is it because of the cosmos is aligned against you?
Yeah.
Like it's one of those things that haunts guys, and it's haunted Matt Ryan because here Matt Ryan was, one of the greatest quarterbacks of his generation, and yet that question kind of hung over him. And at one point he was asked after he retired, like, what is it like being known as the guy who was the foil for the greatest comeback ever? And even though the guy has a borderline Hall of Fame career, he was like, frankly, it sucks because those types of imperceptible errors hang over him.
Yeah, it's something about a competitor, right? And I just met with Jahmyr Gibbs, sat with David Montgomery, and, Jared Goff has this Cali laid-back vibe, but the one word they used for him was dog. What did you learn about his competitive nature over making this piece?
Well, it's not a question of his competitiveness. It's not a question of, whether he's wired the right way. It's just a question of whether, you're one of the 8 greatest people at your job in the world at any given time, but can you be one of the greatest 3? And I would be curious to know what you think. I mean, you played safety as well as anybody, and when you faced a quarterback that you knew was really, really good, but not a future Hall of Famer, I would be curious if you guys thought that the gap was this much or if it was actually this much.
Well, I'm going to say this. There's a difference from when I played Aaron Rodgers and I played Tom Brady to playing the Carson Palmers. Carson Palmer, who was elitely talented, didn't have that thing. Every time you played Tom Brady, that thing showed up. When we played Aaron Rodgers in the Super Bowl, that thing showed up. And I think if you're someone who's going to knock Jared Goff, it's waiting for that it factor in the big moment to take his team from very good to great. Seth, thank you so much, man. That was an amazing piece.
My pleasure, man.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Seth Wickersam, American Kings, a biography of the quarterback, is available for pre-order now wherever books are sold. And coming up, y'all, listen, you give me a show with Boog and a show with Lewis, ain't no way we not about to talk defense. And when we come back, we gonna get to
.com to check out the best hoodies, polos, and more.
Back on NFL Live, my dog Boog was locked into the Bears-Bills preseason game last weekend, and he was tweeting. Luther Burden just pancaked Hamlin. Didn't expect that. Boog, bro, you can't help yourself. But you know what's crazy, though, Boog? As this was happening, you sure wasn't tweeting about all the big dudes that got their head knocked off, but let a DB one time get cracked on a run play. Oh, let's praise the wide receiver. But that's what happens when big dudes want to see little dudes get pancaked. Where was your tweet here, though, Boog? What would you say here, though, Boog? Watch the chip. Boom!
Well, I'm just going to repeat what he said. That was BTA, and I think we all understand what BTA means. And hopefully he has his head on the swivel going forward.
Hey, when you speaking of BTA, it looks like Abdul Carter got a little bit of that. But listen, I have Booger and Louis Riddick. It's a perfect day to get defensive here on NFL Live. And we're going to focus on some of the second-year quarterbacks who could benefit most from having a strong defense. And let's start in Minnesota. The Vikings defense under Brian Flores was one of the best in the NFL last season. They allowed the 5th fewest points per game and had the 2nd most efficient defense in all of the NFL. They also ranked top 5 in opponent total QBR and rush yards. Boog, do you think this defense could be good enough, especially early on, to carry the load for J.J. McCarthy?
No doubt, RC, and I think you have to look at the additions they made, especially on the defensive side of the football. Look on the interior, Javon Hargrave, Jonathan Allen, 2 guys who have been stalwarts from an interior standpoint. I think they'll be able to plug up the middle and get some pressure. Then on the back end, can you cover people? They get Rodgers over from Philadelphia, and they're going to try the reclamation project with Jeff Okudah. So can you stop the run? Can you rush? And can you cover? And I didn't even talk about Dallas Turner or Van Ginkel. And you couple all of that with the scheme that Brian Flores has, I think this is something to deal with because we know that B-Flow is going to make your quarterback uncomfortable. They're going to make your defense, make your offensive line try to figure out which guys are coming and at what time they're coming. I think this defense is going to be a lot better than they were last year, this season.
Well, you know, the big thing about this defense, too, was we saw teams kind of understand where they were going to bring the blitz from, how to attack them. You know, you definitely saw that down the stretch, the Detroit Lions, in the playoffs, the Los Angeles Rams. What new wrinkles does Brian Flores have, especially early on in the season, to get some of these players to make plays and help J.J. McCarthy acclimate to being the new starting quarterback of the Minnesota Vikings? Now, we got to head to New England, where the Patriots made huge moves on the defensive side of the ball that hopefully can take some of the pressure off of Drake May. The Patriots improved all facets of their defense. They signed Super Bowl champion Milton Williams and gave him $63 million guaranteed, the third amongst defensive tackles in all of the NFL. They also added cornerback Carlton Davis and linebackers Harold Landry and Robert Spillane. Lewis, they have all these new additions on the defensive side of the ball. Are they going to be good enough to take a second-year quarterback like Drake May to the playoffs?
Look, I think there's no question, Ryan, they'll lean into this defense, especially it's the new formulation here with all these new players. And if there's anyone that you trust to be able to get all these guys to play in concert and in unison, it's Mike Vrabel. Look, these guys are studs up front now. Milton Williams, we saw what he did in the Super Bowl. We saw how he wrecked the interior of the Kansas City Chiefs defense. You see at the linebacker position, Robert Spillane is one of those guys who's at the command and control center who will lock things down with the way he likes to play. Harold Landry, one of the best pass rushers, one of the best pure pass rushers in the NFL. Carlton